Welcome, citizens! I am SirMadsen. Patch notes for 3.17.2 is now live, and they are huge. They are freaking huge. We are going to read all of it. So, in advance, I want to apologize for my voice. It's kind of cracking, and all this reading is probably not making it any better. So, yeah. Apologies in advance if I start sounding a little weird. The patch notes are to be found on the official website or on my webpage, Throne of Geeks. I will put a link in the pinned comment below. And without further ado, let's get into the patch notes. As I said, it's a lot to read, so I understand if you want to read it by yourself. But we are doing this for your entertainment. If you want to listen to my lovely voice. Anyway, here we go. Alpha patch 3.17.2 has been released to the live environment and is now available to test. Patch should now show version 3.7.2 live 8148301. It is strongly recommended that players delete their user and shader folder for the public client after patching, particularly if you start encountering any odd character graphical issues or crash on loading. The user folder can be found in default installation at C Program Files Robot Space Industries Star Citizen Live. The shader folders can be found here. Location app data Star Citizen. I don't know if it actually works, but I think it should work if you tap your Windows icon button on your keyboard and R, so Windows button R to open the search box, and you type in this and press enter. That should open the correct folder, and from there you delete the shader folder. Database reset, yes, which is why I need to delete the shader folder to reset everything for best performance. Long-term persistence disabled, reputation will be preserved. This is the server wipe. Starting a UEC 20,000, which is the normal amount. Players will receive a stipend based on previous 3.17.1 live playtime. Let's get into the patch. Known issues. There are a lot of fun bugs, let me tell you that. Also, a few bugs that are can be annoying, but it's known issues, so you will either have them or you won't, basically. Party invite group launch. Unable to party launch with friends. Players may have to restart the game after getting kicked to the main menu from a 30k server crash. Targeting. A ship's targeting pip may be missing or disappear from some players. They cannot be targeted when this happens. Kind of fun. Multi-vehicle. Ships floating in the hangar when stored with the engines left on, then retrieved again. So basically your ship will be floating if you leave your ship with the engines on and you store it, and when you retrieve it again, the ship will be floating. Ships and character animation. The player character arm will misalign when seated in ships, causing obstruction of HUD and view. So this might be a problem. If this happens, you should probably just exit the game, go ahead and delete the shader folder again, and just restart. Vehicle spawning. The Car 2Al spawns on the hangar floor sideways. I want to see people try to get into that. That would be hilarious. Vehicles, ship refuel. While docked to a Starfarer, multiple vehicle types will continuously tilt instead of remaining stationary and snap away from the arm if any movement is attempted. Vehicles. The Argo raft's elevator controls cannot be interacted with from either deck. Crusader Ares. Headlights on Ares are too dim to notice at reasonable range. Medical beacon. Medical beacon does not complete mission payment when player is brought back from incapacitation. Animation weapons. All weapons are held like a pistol whilst moving in EVA. This must look fun. I want this. I want this issue, to be honest. Combat AI. UGF missions are sometimes missing NPC spawns to complete the mission. FPS weapons, weapon holster or unholsters unintentionally. Armor weapons, utility items may disappear between sessions. Inventory, weapons. Weapons looted directly equipped from containers or boxes are missing attachments. ASOP. Ships on landing pads end up in unknown state for location and have to be reclaimed after the ship is stored or streamed out. Missions UGF. Bounty Hunter. Turrets around bunkers respawn very quickly, sometimes almost instantaneously. So, be careful when doing bunker missions. You should probably try and land somewhere out of sight of the turret. So either with a small ship where you can land like behind a structure or something, or just far enough away and run to the mission. Mission giver AI locations. Wallace Klim is not aligned to the table and can be seen standing away from it. This kind of confuses me because the AI have, as far as I know, always standed on tables and chairs, even floating in the air or stuck in the wall. So this is not a new issue. It's a funny issue, yeah, but it's not new. Multiple location R&R stations. Stations are variable offset from the Lagrange point they are housed within. We also got some new features. Locations. Derelict Reclaimers V1. Added additional points of interest that will be scattered both on planets and in space. These derelict reclaimers come with puzzle traversal elements along with multiple legal and illegal mission types, which include delivery and FPS combat in and around the crash sites using the new Planetary Navigation mesh. There are multiple reclaimer derelicts in space with 3 associated delivery, investigation and mercenary missions. We've also added a new ground-based derelict reclaimer site inhabited by NPC called Ghost Hollow, which involves delivery, bounty hunter, and mercenary missions. Derelict Colonialism Outposts. Added new derelict versions of the Colonialism Outpost into Stanton. This initial release will see 5 unique outposts, locations on Microtech, with new delivery missions, small traversal puzzles, and AI guards that utilize the new Planetary Nav mesh along with the new dropship reinforcement system. This is so cool. We're going to take a look at this in a minute. Added the Snake Pit racetrack. AI. Okay, so a minute became seconds. AI Planetary Navigation. This system allows NPCs to move on planetary surfaces using a dynamically generated navigation mesh. This will efficiently process planetary terrain and objects to prioritize the processing of the environment around the players into NavMesh, allowing the use of all existing functionalities on planets. The first implementation of this feature will be at the Reclaimer and Colonialism Outpost Derelict Points of Interest. AI landing improvements. This enables AI ships to land and deliver reinforcements on non-structured ground areas like planetary terrain where a predefined landing area and assistance from air traffic control is not available. Gameplay. Illegal collect and delivery missions. New set of delivery missions focusing on illegal cargo. These will be offered by Red Wind Linehaul once the player reaches a high enough reputation with them as a courier. The player will be sent to sketchy, rundown locations like drug labs and stash houses and is tasked with delivering goods between them, some of which may not be legal. The intro mission should be available around Hurston if you have rank 2 courier rep with Red Wind Linehaul. The illegal missions are available outside of Hurston's jurisdiction if you have a high enough Red Wind Linehaul reputation and have completed the intro mission in Hurston. These missions come in 5 different versions, each with a different quantity of cargo and corresponding monetary and reputation reward given on completion. Added marker for players and friendly AI that are associated with your current FPS mission. This is really nice. Ships and vehicles. Added new vehicle, the Anvil Centurion. This is a ground combat vehicle. We have it right here. The Centurion. And it kind of looks like this. don't know if we can get to it. Yeah, we could. This is what it looks like. Huge weapons. I wonder what kind of ship this will fit in. Probably one of the larger. It's a pretty expensive for one standalone, but hey. We're all used to the prices by now. Anyway, that's the Centurion. Weapons and items. Added new lootable item, Grey Cat Arrow Backpack Collector. Added new armor, 2 shops, and lootable containers. RRS Specialist Heavy Armor. Morozov SH Brush Drift, Redshift, and Snowdrift variants. Feature updates. Locations. Rest Stop Hangar additions. Updated existing rest stops to have small and medium hangars. Additional Stanton Lagrange points. Added 8 additional unique rest stop locations with full amenities that includes clinics, EC hubs, shopping, and services. This update includes both the Stanton themselves and the surrounding gas clouds for players to explore and mine asteroids. This is very cool. Grim Hex Hospital expansion. Expanded Grim Imperial Medical to include additional medical rooms. So basically this is to accommodate for the double player base. AI, improved NPC face randomization to be more diverse. Gameplay, Combat Service Beacons V2. Updates to Combat Service Beacon gameplay for a more varied and rewarding experience. This update hooks combat service beacons into Quantum to allow the system to determine when, where, and what difficulty will occur. This brings a range of 10 levels of difficulty to space combat beacons, which will start players at low tiers with easier targets and scales up massively as the player gains reputation to include higher difficulty levels with tougher targets, larger payouts, and rare encounters that may require teams of players to take down the target. This is very nice. We like this. Updated combat assist beacons to only display on-screen notifications to players who are currently in a vehicle. Food and drink, fuel purchasing update. Food and drinks can now be purchased in multiples. Oh my god, yes! Using many shop kiosks throughout the universe. Wow, this is so good. Finally, now we don't have to buy one at a time. We love it. Shopping kiosk qual updates. Updating shopping kiosk with new qual features. General UI polish pass added check functionality to quick buy confirmation pop-up so that it is now a quick passive pop-up and requires no interaction. Yes. Updates filter section to be multi-line and added a field to support search inputs. Price of Freedom mission updates. Reduced the reputation requirements to gain the intro hijacked Caterpillar mission. Added an additional new version of the mission around Crusader. Once players have completed the first in-person mission from Tekia Pacheco directly, they will be able to accept further ones from the Mobiglass while in space near planets. Very nice. Turret velocity pass. Tuned the turret velocity and acceleration value such that the feeling and weight of turrets matches their size. Very nice. And it doesn't negatively impact aiming experience. Very nice. Quality of life improvements right there. Adjusted critical display status for hunger and thirst widgets to appear at about 25% full, up from 15%. Made it legal to commit infractions against players that are illegally trespassing in an area. Ooh, this is so nice. So this is basically, you are now allowed to shoot down players within a, at least this is how I think it will work. Made it legal to commit infractions against players that are illegally trespassing in an area. So basically, probably, hopefully, you will be able to shoot down players that are marked as illegal if they come nearby a base. Then we may be allowed to shoot them down without being marked by ourselves. Leave a comment below if you think this is what it is, or if you know what it is. Higher value gems will now be much more rare in loot crates. Players will now drop empty magazines while reloading. Yes, thank you very much. Disable corpse AR marker showing for other players. Very nice. Ships and vehicles, Mustang Alpha Qual updates. Made changes to the cargo grid to add a new 4 SCU cargo hold with animated doors that open and allow players to place and store loose cargo. Greatly increased the cargo bay health. Nice. Vandal ship updates. Greatly increased the fuel tank storage and adjusted fuel usage for Blade, Glaive, and Scythe ships. Blade performance polish. Retuned weapons to increase velocity, increase wing hull health, reduced hull health of several joints, change lateral velocities, boost multiplier, and aerodynamics. Greatly increased health of the Nova tank. Greatly increased the fuel reserves of the K2L. Greatly increased the hull health of the Ursa rover. Improved the Ursa rover's brakes and reverse speeds. Decreased Scorpius max speed in atmosphere. Updated Scorpius pass-by audio. Adjusted Drake Mule weapon rack interactions to be easier to select. Weapons and items. Updated dimensions of MSCU for missiles and torpedoes. Greatly increased the railgun damage. So the railgun might actually be viable now. Core Tech player networking update. Enabled new remote movement and new client authoritative positions systems. With this update, players should see great improvements with on-foot player positions and less jittery behavior while viewing remote player movements. Quality of life improvements. AI networking improvements. Made many improvements to on-foot AI networking to improve their movements, responses, and reduce rubber banding. Very nice, we like. And performance polish pass on large planetary storms. Performance polish pass for entity streaming. Updated reshade to version 5.3. So basically a small graphical upgrade. Added option to enable or disable the QR code from the options menu. That, ladies and gentlemen, was the patch notes. We are now going into bug territory. Except for that it's not new bugs, it's fixed bugs. So let's see. It's quite a long list, but we are more than halfway, so let's keep going. Bug fixes. Players should no longer be able to directly call another player to constantly monitor their location. I've never had that bug myself, but okay. Players should now be able to see and add other players on their friends list from the main menu. Very nice. Fixed an issue causing attacks against ships to sometimes not register. Emptying and reloading consecutive magazines should no longer break reloading. Players should no longer become desynced after being downed and revived. Players' corpses should no longer clip and fall through surfaces after dying. Thank you very much. Shopping kiosk search filter should no longer reset to default after transaction success. Dragging and dropping a magazine into the player's armor should no longer cause the inventory to infinitely load and stop responding. Yeah, this bug would actually kick you out of the game if I remember correctly. On-foot players and NPCs should no longer appear to pause and teleport when viewed through a scope at a distance. AI should now spawn in appropriate numbers during Infiltrate Defend UGF missions. Fixed an issue causing AI to be slow to respond when engaging players in combat. So better combat, simply. Restricted area warning should no longer occur inside UGFs if player has a lawful mission. Thank you for that. Players should no longer receive an armistice crime stat. Armistice crime stat for damaging their own vehicle with another owned vehicle while it is being lifted up down by a cargo elevator lift. Thank you. Player injuries should now fully persist through sessions. So you can no longer log out and log back in with full health if you are damaged or something like that. Fixed an issue causing the Argo mole to have no cargo capacity, which prevented mining. Hospital pharmacy kiosk should no longer display invalid location message upon purchase. Horizon pharmacy kiosk should no longer flash at a distance. Crusader showroom sales terminal should no longer display a black screen. Players should no longer be able to duplicate ship components by transferring them from read-only ships on the claim timer and claiming the ship at another location. Item boxes left in hangar should now be cleaned up and no longer block a ship that is being spawned. Very nice. Functional claim button should no longer briefly appear if the player selects to store a ship. Area 18 center mass elevator doors should no longer be duplicated. Astro Armada ship consoles displays should no longer have Z fighting. Horizon Kovalex shipping and trading kiosk should now have proper interaction. Refinery shop kiosk should no longer have blank displays. Defiance Core armors should no longer have the wrong color in inventory. Players should now be able to interact with and buy Tiger Claw crypto keys off the shelf in Grimhex. Shubin Interstellar kiosk in New Babbage should now correctly use the new shop UI. Filtered out items on the Sell tab should now be correctly removed from the current items list. Uncommon loot crates should no longer be missing from Caterpillar Derelicts. Ships should no longer hop and jump around after being spawned. That's actually a fun bug. Starfarer Gemini should no longer be missing its table and benches. Fixed an issue causing players to impact into planets when quantum traveling to a party marker on the surface. Thank you very much. The Scorpius Quantum Drive UI should no longer be very small, making hard to read. Players should now be able to change the lower weapons on the Scorpius turret. Scorpius headlights should no longer be dim and hardly usable in dark terrain and cause particles effects to blind the pilot's view. Instead, they introduced another ship with dim headlights. Players should now be able to interact with top right MFD of the Cutlass series. Nice, thank you for that. I am a Cutlass pilot. Actually, I'm not. Not anymore. Remote turrets can now be slaved to the driver in the Nova tank. Argo, Raft, Ursa Rover, Anvil Ballista, and Anvil Spartan. Redeemer nose turret should now fire correctly. Redeemer disc joint should no longer be invulnerable. Fixed an issue causing the control panel and guard rails of the Reclaimer's elevator to not follow along with it. Reclaimer's elevator should now correctly show option to go up when on the bridge level. Jettison cargo inner thought prompt should be visible inside of the prospector. Hammerhead's front interior airlock doors should now allow players to open and close them correctly when docked to a station. Atmosphere should no longer be missing from the lower deck corridor of the rear elevator of the 600i. Well, I've never had that problem. Players should no longer be able to fall through the closed rear ramp of the Cutlass Steel. Starfarer should no longer be able to quantum travel when another ship is docked to it. Players should now be able to access the Origin 135C cargo bay. ROC DS should now hold its correct amount cargo at 3.5 SCU. Tumbrel Cyclone MT missile racks should now function. The rear of the Drake Mule should no longer start to float if the vehicle navigates over steep inclines and or hills. AI corpses should no longer despawn too quickly while players are near. Vaulting over objects should no longer seriously injure or knock out a player. Thank you for that. Player EVA animation should no longer appear as them standing in space. Oh, that's actually very nice. So you will no longer be like a doll just floating through space. I am anxious to see how this animation will actually look like now then. Legal and illegal deploy probe missions should now show up correctly in the contract manager. Arlington Gang Idris should now be able to maintain its flight in atmosphere. Morozov SH helmet cheek lights should no longer present externally for female characters. Clesure prison escape rover should no longer spawn offset inside of its garage. Players should now suffocate when their suit runs out of oxygen while in the Clesure mines. Hacking chips should no longer appear sideways when equipped by a player. There should no longer be replace me balls on the surface near Outposts of Daymar. Hull A Empyrean, Horizon and Dusk paints should no longer be missing. We are almost there. Technical issues, or technical bug fixes rather. Fixed 19 client crashes, fixed 17 server crashes, fixed multiple backend server crashes. AC scoreboard should no longer crash the client. And that, citizens, is the 3.17.2 patch notes in full. And here's the former video. You can see that in the top right corner right now. This is a quick break of the patch notes, basically. Anyway, that was the patch notes for 3.17.2. It's been a long read. I hope you stuck by. If not, that is okay. I understand. Listening to a patch note reading is never fun, but if you don't want to read, you can have this on in the background. I should probably have mentioned that in the beginning, right? Anyway, that's it. We're done. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like this kind of content, and leave a comment below. What issue have you encountered? Would be fun to know, actually. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time.